front of us, and it led to us being in rotation a lot in that second half. In the first half, we didn't give up as much penetration. In the second half, we gave up a lot.
Stephon posted another double-double again tonight. What do you like most about his presence, especially in the paint on both ends?
He was super focused tonight. I mean, you could kind of see it with the start that he got off to. I think he was disappointed in his play last week, and I thought he gave us great minutes tonight. Obviously, they play small often, so there were times where, Chris Ford, who I thought gave us great minutes as well, kind of was able to kind of work with Steph in filling that void. But, Steph was, he was aggressive, he was strong. Even that charge call, it's a tough one. There were a couple tough calls on him in that half, but it's kind of the way it goes sometimes. But he, 12 and 9 is critical.
What did you see there at the end when you lost Cheeks and trying to bring the ball up?
It's funny. Like it's for some of these guys, Jackson, Chris Ford, even Josh. Like, as much as they've been part of good teams in college basketball, they haven't been in those moments yet. And so I think there's, as much as guys don't always want to admit it, it's different. It's different, and you got to be super strong, and you got to be really well versed in what you've got to do. That 3-point play that they got late. Jackson swipes for it with one hand. Like, you got to go grab that thing with two hands, man. And I think there was certainly a little bit of tense moments there at the end, but again, that's where you got to rely on your training. And fortunately, we were able to get over the hump. But obviously, having Enoch not in the game there at the end is tough, and it's just so hard because you're guarding a guy going full speed, you're getting screened, you're trying to get to space. It's like the defense really, they don't have much of a chance. It's like becoming the NFL where you just you want to see points, but you just it's hard. And Enoch got a foolish one at the end of the half, which he didn't need. And that really, I think, kind of hurt us because he couldn't start that second half, and then you're just a little bit hesitant, from there on out because you don't want to pick up more fouls. But again, thankfully, we were able to figure it out.
Despite those final 2 minutes, what do you think was the one key takeaway, or maybe multiple key takeaways, playing IUPUI back to back, so was able to help with a different result?
I'm just glad we don't have to play IUPUI again next. Again, they're well coached, they're well schooled, they do a really good job of keeping you on your heels with their switching and their matchup. And then they have some guys that are aggressive and can get into the paint and make plays. And they just put a ton of pressure on you. And thankfully, we were able to be 1 point better.
Coach, in the first half, you guys had 20 points in the paint. In the second half, only 4. What did you see differently in the first and second half? Were you just not getting to the rim, no looks in the paint, or did IUPUI toughen up on you?
I mean, I think we got into the paint a little bit in the second half. I think, we weren't always strong enough when we got it in there. Jackson had to drive early. I think that's got to be a 3-point play for us instead of going to the free throw line and getting 1. E had a great drive, kind of got bumped, but, you got to play through that, and then the ball gets stripped. So when you get in there, you got to be strong. Like, this is big boy time, and you got to be able to get it in there. I thought they did a good job in the second half on Khalil. He did a good job of getting to the offensive glass and getting a couple putbacks, but I thought they did a good job of not allowing us to get some of the penetration we got in the first half. And fortunately, Mike was able to make a couple threes. Jackson made a big 3, and those were big possessions for us.
Khalil's last home game, obviously here. What kind of impact does he leave on this fan base, on this stadium?
I think Leo obviously has been a guy that kind of came in from Bucknell and had been a little bit up and down, and he talked a little bit about last week with the team about how when he decided to leave Bucknell, he didn't really have a plan in place, right? Some guys go in the transfer portal and they kind of know where they're going to go, or he kind of thought that he needed a change, and he didn't maybe get as much interest as he thought he might have, and was able to come here and through hard work, he's just been able to get better and better and better. He's come a really long way in a lot of areas. That's allowed him to be much more consistent. And, for a guy to play, almost 2.5 years really, and be 1,000 points here, 500 rebounds here, is really impressive because, during that COVID year, he didn't get eligible right away. And obviously we didn't play as many games. And so, we started to see a little bit of what he could become towards the end of that season, and then obviously these last two he's been really special.
Coach, 9 points off their turnovers and 7 fast break points. What did you think about your transition from defense to offense tonight?
I thought it was just okay. I thought they did a good job of attacking us, even off makes, just kind of hitting the head. Not always off a turnover, but off makes, just hitting the head and being able to try to, just create advantage. And, we were allowing them to attack us, and, that's usually a bad recipe.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Which one I usually do?
Yeah, that one, bro. Shit. This is crazy.
All right, questions for these guys. Mike, take us through the moment on the game winner.
We drew up the play in the timeout. Lil to come set the step-up screen. By the time I got to half court, it was about 7 seconds. I feel like I just made the right read. I was opening up the screen and just made the big shot, stayed poised. Shout out to my teammates and coaches who trusted me and believing in me to giving me the ball at the end.
Khalil, 17 points tonight, 11 rebounds. Can you talk about how you just felt tonight overall?
I felt good, man. Got a little banged up throughout the game, but just going into the game was exciting. In my 3 years here, this is our first home playoff game, and student section came out and showed a lot of love, and just the Colonial fan base showed a lot of love. So it gave us a lot of a boost, and it just made it even more fun to play today. So I felt great out there.
Mike made a couple of big shots in the second half. Just talk about your role on this team this year.
My role has just been to lead and to provide whatever isn't being provided on the court at the time. So if we need scoring, then that's what I'm there to do. If we need facilitating, and we have players like Josh Corbin, Enoch Cheeks, Khalil scoring the ball, then my job is to make it easier for them to facilitate.
Comfortable coming off the bench a lot of times.
Yeah, I'm comfortable. It's a big role for me, and the team needed me to do it for us to be as best as we can be in.
Final game for you guys. Overall, what has this program meant for you and your time at Robert Morris and just the overall community aspect?
It's meant a lot. Just my story, man. First 2 years, not much opportunity. Entering the portal, didn't know where my looks would be, and just having the coaches trust me. I told them this on senior night was everything. It's what's allowed me to grow and just continue to stay positive in my journey. And I think that it's just translated into our team's success this year as well. I don't know if, what the track was from my first year to second year here, but it's obvious the jump that we made from last season with now 11 wins in conference, and we're trying to finish with 14. So we got 3 more to go, and there's nothing's done yet. Like I said, I'm happy with my time here, but there's still more to go.
You beat the best team, you lose to the worst team record-wise. What is it about this team, and what maybe it goes through a player's mind when you play somebody that doesn't have a good record?
I I don't think it had anything to do with us as a team. I don't like to make excuses either, so I'm not going to say what attributed to it, but I think we showed today that the loss the other day was not characteristic of us.
Same team within the last 5 days, obviously in the playoffs, a different feel to it. Were there things you took from the game last Thursday that you knew they were going to bring tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely. Me personally, I knew that if I got going earlier in the game, they were going to start trying to double team me. So that's just always in the back of my mind. But also just defensively, we didn't play as well in the second half as we did in the first. But in the first half, we were so sharp because, like you said, we played them just less than a week ago, and we have the same scout. So we knew a lot of their sets, and it allowed us to be able to be a little bit more predictive. And I think that's what helped us come up with some big stops in the first half and the second half as well. We needed them.
Found out with a few minutes left to go in the game. When he subs out as the facilitator, do you guys tighten up on offense and defense?
What do you mean by tighten up?
Like do you play like a different style of basketball with him off the court compared to on the court? Or,
I mean,
when Michael comes in, does he just bring the same sort of characteristics that Cheeks would bring?
I would say there's a difference just because Enoch and Mike are different players, but I wouldn't say that if there's a drop-off. That I would not say that at all. I just think that maybe the style changes a little bit more because whereas E is getting downhill a lot and finishing, some of those same drives where Mike could finish, he's looking to make that, that extraordinary pass that only Mike can see it on the court. So, I wouldn't say that there's a drop-off, but I would definitely say that, you can tell a little bit of a change in style. But I think that those two, when we switch those groups out with those two leading on the court, it helps us, keep the other team's defense off balance. Mm-hmm.
Will, what is that you brought in with you, that Horizon League block there?
Yeah, this is our brick, man. Got to get 3 more of these.
3 more bricks.
Stacking these all season. So in the locker room, we got one for every win we have, and it's the color of the university that we beat with their logo on it. So we got 10 bricks. We wanted to make it 11 after Thursday's game, but we didn't. But we made it up now. So
it just symbolizes brick by brick.
Yep. Yeah, so basically the mantra that Coach preached to us, going into conference play was that you got to lay a solid foundation. So at the beginning of the conference, there was no bricks, and he was preaching the only way you can build a house is if you work on building a solid foundation. So, like Mike said, we're just working on going brick by brick, and we've just been stacking them, and then after every game, we get to see that wall grow. It's just something good to look at.
Yeah. Thursday now versus Cleveland State, does your mind maybe drift a little bit in advance, or does it let you soak in tonight and then tomorrow morning you're right back?
Oh, no, short-term memory, Ultimately, we had to play today, but our goal initially was a bye, so we didn't even want to play today. But we got the job done. We did what we have to, and we know that we play again in 2 days. So there's not really any time for us to rejoice over this win. We did that in the locker room. We got to get some recovery, be ready to come back in tomorrow, have a good practice, and get on the road to Cleveland State because me, MG, and E already know that's how our season ended last year, and neither of us are trying to have that same feeling this year.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.